Well, hey everybody, it's the 19th day of July 2026. I'm Jan Erickson and this is As Above, So Below. Well, I hope you're doing well. It's very hot here. It's going to be in the 90s today and for the next few days, so fun times. And fires are starting to merge into bigger ones. Some of them were already big, but you know. But that's just typical here in the summertime where we live. Anyhow, let's start with Othala. Othala is the 24th rune of the Elder Futhark, and it's essentially it's about inheritance and the sacred space and possessions and family and tradition and loyalty. It's made of Ingus on the top and Gebo on the bottom. And so it's almost like the concentrated energy of the seed with Ingus expressed outward into your life in Gebo and balanced energy exchange with others. It is the last rune of the Elder Futhark, and so with 24 being its number, you're looking at a 6 numerology, and that alone is a shared experience. And so, how you spend your sacred space with others, how you live in that reality, if you will. But it can also be about protection and ancestral heritage and security and peace and all of that. But there they are. Let's look at the Geomancy runes and see what we can come up with there. So something either regarding your sacred space or loyalty or tradition or something is going to come up this next week. Let's see, there's earth, there's water, we have air, and we have 2 for fire. So we are looking at Caput Draconis, Caput and Cauda Draconis. Caput is the head of the dragon or on the threshold of something new happening. So again, there could be something regarding your home or some kind of sacred space that may change and develop into something new. Let's see if we can find it here. Oh, here's Caput. So here's Caput Draconis, and again, new beginnings, on the threshold of new beginnings. Its complement, Cauda Draconis, is about the past and the tail of the dragon. They represent the north and south nodes of the moon. But again, I think maybe you're on the threshold of something having to do with either refining your sacred space, adding to it, maybe buying a new home or bringing some new furniture in, or maybe someone in your family is getting married and you're bringing in a new person into the family. It could have something to do with inheritance and possessions. But let's see what the cards have to say before we start to really define that further. But hopefully it's not, a bunch of controversy like going on in these days in our country and in the world. Lots of difficult things happening. The smoke has been bad, and so we've already started putting a piece of paneling. We've been doing this now for several years over the back door that goes into the porch, and because that back porch is not secure, it's not tight at all. Air comes in and cold air, smoke, all of it, and then I get my smoke headache, which I don't like. And so my husband stuck that up for a while yesterday, and then the smoke cleared out, so we opened it back up, and but it's there waiting to go back up, because this stuff's not going away anytime soon. Let's cut the deck, take the lower half, and draw 3 cards. We have 1 from the court, 1 from the major arcana, and 1 from swords. I think what I'm going to do here first, though, I'll go ahead and I'll do the numerology. So we had 24 for Othala. We have the 9 of swords, plus 9. Plus we have the King of Wands, which doesn't have a number, and then we have the Magician, which is a 1. That's 34. 3 and 4 is 7. Let's do it again. 24 plus 9 plus nothing on the king and 1 on the magician. 34. So 7. 7's about balance, and observation and spirituality and generosity. But if you're looking at, it's also about observation. So there may be something about this idea of sacred space where you might want to just stand back and observe before you really, involve yourself at all. You could be simply looking at all that you have and appreciating in gratitude and generosity of spirit what you've achieved so far in your life. And with the idea of maybe being on the threshold of something new here with Caput Draconis. But we'll see what has to happen to make that happen. Let's start with a 9. Here we have the 9 of Swords. Swords is the air element, so you're looking at communication. Right now we're still in Mercury retrograde. I think for a few days longer. Is it the 23rd or something? Maybe it stations direct. But then you're still going to have a shadow. You have a shadow before and after. So instead of the 3 weeks, it's more like 5. But some people just breeze right through it. They don't even know. They don't notice anything. They don't notice any communication issues. They say don't sign contracts, don't get into, try not to do a legal agreement at all during the retrograde period, because miscommunication can happen. Or maybe you'll think you read something and you didn't, or something's missing from the contract or whatever. But it's just one of those moments, I think, where, especially when you're looking at the 7 numerology for the reading, that you really want to just observe as much as you can and not get into arguments or miscommunication if at all possible. We are coming to the end, but again, you may still have a little bit for a while. But here with 9 is endings and completion. You see the individuals sitting up in bed, holding their hands over their face. So there's been a nightmare of sorts. But with swords, you can also look at swords and the air element as our thought process. And so there could be a lot of stuff going on in the person's head where they just can't, they're ruminating, they really can't let go of the thoughts, and they can't relax and go to sleep. Or maybe they wake up from a nightmare. And they get everything in order here. So they try to understand. In other words, when you see something in order with swords, they're trying to put things together in a meaningful way so you understand what's happening. And so you see the same sort of thing with the pattern here, with squares in the quilt or comforter there. Everything's in order. So you want to put everything in order. Whatever has been plaguing you, if you've been thinking about things that are just taking you in a place that upsets you and all of that, it's time to reorder all of that and let it go. Put it into perspective so that it's no longer plaguing you, so you can begin again with the 10 card. And we're just coming through the minor arcana and all these things that you learn and experience with each of the suits in the tarot. You're just to this point now where, okay, I'm done. I've got to get this in order. I've got to let it go. And with the 10 of Swords, you see somebody laying on the ground, 10 swords piercing the back. And I know that sounds bad, but it's really not. And the head is turned toward the light. The emotions have settled on the water in between the mountains and the sun coming up, although you don't see the actual sun, but you see that yellow light coming and the night's lifting, and you're ready to let go of thoughts that don't serve you or perceptions or beliefs that don't serve you anymore. So this is the step before that process happens. But you got to get it all in order, right? In order to have that peace and security and sacred space that you have with Othala. And even if you want to look at Othala as a peace of mind instead of the surroundings that you have, your home and all of it, you can look at it that way too. You're bringing everything together in that, in the Ingus part of it, in the diamond part of it, and you're concentrating that focus, and then you're letting go of all of it with Gebo, and as you draw in the light, you're expressing that light outward. And so you might look at it that way as well. And again, with Caput Draconis, you're on the threshold of something new. So in a sense that is taking the place of the 10 of Swords in that one respect. Now, with the King of Wands, now you see the king, he's not facing you. I'm not a fan of kings. The King of Pentacles is probably a little more comfortable to look at, but I don't particularly care for the kings. Here you have one holding the King of Wands is holding a staff. It's the wands is the fire element, so lots of energy, lots of authority, lots of self-assertion, knowledgeable, wise. He can be the warrior. He has that warrior spirit about him, but when ill-dignified, he can be cruel and bigoted because, you know, he just doesn't, he really cares mostly about himself. Excuse me. You see the lions here on the back of his throne. You see the Ouroboros, the salamander down here, creating a circle and grabbing its tail. So he's used to being the boss. He's used to being the guy that the King of Wands and the King of Swords very similar that way. They're used to being the boss. They're used to being the one in control, the one in charge. And I think that how this relates to letting go of perceptions that aren't serving you anymore and needing to be on the threshold of something new and recreating that sacred space for yourself, whether at home or in your thought processes, and balance, having some balance there with the 7 here, because 7 is also about balance. You have to assert yourself and take command of the situation. You can't fall victim and fall into the reaction mode all the time and just feel like you don't have any power or control about yourself, when in fact the King of Wands is suggesting that you need to take that control. Maybe no one's going to give it to you, so you're going to have to assert yourself and be the king in your life, essentially. And then from there we go to the Magician. Card 1 of the major arcana. 0 is the Fool, and here the Fool in the form of the Magician is manifesting its basically Othala, its home, its life, who it is, and all of that. The second one, card 2, would be the High Priestess, and that's the subconscious realm, linking spirit with form, essentially. And then with the Empress, card 3, you give birth to your creation, essentially, to your life that you're going to be engaging in, all the things you came to this life to experience and participate in. But the Magician is here to essentially draw down spirit into reality here, into physical reality, and balance the elements, the elemental balance in your life. You see the cup, which is water. You see the wand here, which again is fire. You see the pentacle there, the coin, which is earth. And then here's the sword for air. You see the lemnis gate above his head, and we don't have any here in the other 2 cards. One is about new beginnings. It's new manifestation. And so again, with Caput Draconis, if you're on the threshold for something new to happen this next week, bringing more peace and security into your life, then the Magician is the energy with which you need, with which you need to manifest that whole experience with. There's also the idea of the as above, so below stance that he has here. And again, bringing higher awareness into whatever it is you're doing instead of the reactive ego, which I think is what we began with here. The reactive ego is just too much and it becomes overwhelming. And at some point you've got to put it in order and all those thoughts you're having in order and decide, you know what, this is not working for me anymore. I need to do something else. I need to think another way about things because this is clearly upsetting and not productive for me in my communications with others. And again, you know, this next week, maybe during the end of being retrograde for Mercury, and then a little bit further into the following week, maybe midway, you're looking at rethinking and observing and figuring things out so that you can then move forward in a better way, and manifesting again from higher awareness instead of reacting from ego. Does that make sense? So I think that this may just be a time for less action and more making a decision about who you are and where you want to go. And if an opportunity does come up, you're going to want to really look at it and be sure that you're looking at it from say from eyes open versus the reactive ego where you're like, oh Lord, what do I do now? So I think that that's probably what this means. I don't think we need another card. But again, with the king, it's suggesting you've got to assert yourself. You can't let all of this old stuff, guide you forward. It's got to be where you're taking your own measure, essentially, and figuring out what works, what doesn't, and discarding the things that don't seem to work anymore, and move forward and assert yourself. Take command of the moment, the king would do, and then manifest what it is you need to manifest. If it's a new opportunity, if it's just something about your home life coming together and maybe a better mindset or better frame of mind, you could do that as well. It could be something like that. But just think about it in terms, whatever it is that's happening this next week, think about how it involves your sacred space. Think about how you're on the threshold of something else. Think about all the things that seem to be dragging you back and maybe making you hesitant to take that leap of faith and move forward. Let it go, assert yourself, and then manifest and see what happens. Okay? Stay safe from the fires. If you're like me, I get a really terrible headache if I smell. I walked out the door this morning. I was going to go and get some stuff off the deck out of some of the pots. I was going to get some chickweed and some cleavers. And see if I have any chamomile left when I was going to do my tea, and I get hit with smoke and it's like instant headache. So if you're like me and that happens for you, just try to stay out of it as best you can. Wear a mask. We even have face shield type respirators with the two thingies right here. And if we have to go water outside and there's smoke hanging, we wear them, because it's not a good thing to be breathing this stuff in, and it's just everywhere. And this is how summers are now, at least here. It's been this way forever, a lot longer than what's going on right now. The joke is, during the summer, well, here you have is it 3 seasons? Yeah, or 2 seasons. You have winter and August, and so, and 3 if you consider fire season. So that's the joke here where I live. I mean it's not exact, but still, you get what I'm saying. People try to make light of what's going on, because what else can you do, And so, because we had a fire down on the 4th of July, just down in the canyon, just about a mile away from us possibly. But they evacuated right over there where it was, and it was a 20-acre fire, and it was grass, but whatever. I don't know how it started, but maybe it was lightning, but I don't think so. It was probably somebody doing fireworks, but anyway, because it was the 4th of July. But then they extended that evacuation zone to right down below us, so that was a little freaky. And if you don't have that wildfire app called Watch Duty, it's free. And I have it on my iPad and my iPhone. There's probably also an Android app version of it. You're in a fire area, you probably want to get that thing downloaded and put your information in, and then it'll bring up your area and you can see where all the fires are. So, and it's so cool. I've been using it now for about a year, and I really love it. It's so helpful if you're in a fire area. So anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good week, and be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.